Most people will never set foot inside the White House. You work there, not in the way people imagine. No press briefings, no state dinners, no handshakes with foreign leaders. You are the person who makes sure the building runs while everyone else sleeps. The night shift. And tonight is the night that changes everything. Let me tell you something about the White House at 2 a.m. It is never completely quiet. There is always a hum, a presence. The weight of everything that has ever happened inside these walls pressing down on every corridor, every room, every staircase. You have worked here for 14 months. You know every sound this building makes. And at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday in November, you hear a sound you have never heard before. Your shift started at 10 p.m. Same as always. Sign in. Collect your radio. Run through the checklist. East Wing maintenance check. West Wing security sweep. Residence corridor temperature monitoring. Kitchen inventory for the morning staff. 14 months of the same routine. You are good at this job because you are invisible at this job. Nobody notices the night shift staffer making sure the heating is working in the Lincoln bedroom. Nobody sees you checking the corridor lighting on the second floor residence wing. That is exactly how you like it. By midnight, the building has settled into its nighttime rhythm. The day staff are long gone. The security rotation is running smoothly. The residence floors are quiet. The president turned in at 11:30. You know because the residence log showed the lights go off at 11:47. Everything is normal. At 1:15 a.m., you complete your third corridor check and settle into the small staff monitoring room on the ground floor to begin the paperwork portion of your shift. At 1:58 a.m., your radio crackles. Not a voice, just static. Then silence. You check the channel. Correct frequency, signal clear. Strange. You go back to your paperwork. At 2:17 a.m., you hear it. Footsteps, fast ones, from the residence staircase. Not security. Security moves differently. Measured, deliberate, pattern-based. These footsteps are panicked. You should not be in the residence corridor. Your checklist does not include the residence corridor after midnight. That is explicitly stated in your staff guidelines. But the sound came from that direction. And something you cannot explain makes you step out of the monitoring room and into the connecting hallway. You hear voices now. Low. Urgent. The specific kind of urgent that people use when they are trying not to sound urgent. You round the corner, and you stop. 3 people. You recognize all 3 of them immediately. The White House Chief of Staff, the President's personal physician, and the Vice President's Chief of Staff, standing outside the private residence elevator. The physician has a medical bag open on the floor. His hands are moving fast. The Chief of Staff is on a phone but not speaking, just listening. His face the color of paper. The Vice President's Chief of Staff is looking at her watch, then at the elevator, then at her watch again. None of them have seen you yet. You are standing 15 feet away in a connecting corridor that should not connect to where they are. Except there was a maintenance rerouting 3 weeks ago that created a temporary access point that nobody updated on the security maps. You are standing in a gap in the system. And then the elevator opens, and you see what is on the gurney inside. You will spend the rest of your life trying to describe what happens to a person in that moment. The way the mind simply refuses to process what the eyes are showing it. You know what you are looking at. You know who you are looking at. And you know with a certainty that settles into your bones like cold water that what you are seeing will never be in any newspaper, will never be on any news channel, will never be officially confirmed by any government spokesperson, because the 3 people standing in that corridor are already managing it. Right now, in real time, before the body is even cold. The Chief of Staff ends his call, looks up, and sees you. 1 second. That is how long the 2 of you look at each other before anything happens. 1 second that contains an entire conversation without a single word. He knows you saw. You know he knows. And in that 1 second, you understand something with absolute clarity. What happens next is entirely dependent on what you do in the next 30 seconds. If you run, they will find you before you reach the exit. If you speak, you have no idea what you are going to say. If you stay perfectly still and let him come to you, that is the only option that gives you any control. So you stay still. He walks toward you slowly. He stops 2 feet in front of you. His voice when he speaks is completely calm, almost gentle. You are not supposed to be in this corridor. I know, you say. The maintenance rerouting. It is not on the updated maps yet. He looks at you for a long moment. What did you see? You have 3 options and you understand all 3 of them instantly. Tell him everything. Full transparency. Trust the system. Tell him you saw nothing. Or tell him the truth in a way that makes it clear you understand what is being asked of you. Option 1 is naive. Option 2 is a lie they will see through in seconds. Option 3 is the only one that ends with you walking out of this building tonight. So you look at the most powerful unelected person in the United States government, and you say, I saw a medical emergency being handled professionally and discreetly by the appropriate personnel. I finished my corridor check, and I am returning to the monitoring room to complete my shift paperwork. My checklist shows no irregularities. He looks at you, really looks at you, for 5 full seconds, and then he steps to the side. Finish your shift, he says. Someone will be in touch tomorrow. You finish your shift. You complete your paperwork. You sign out at 6 a.m. exactly as you do every morning. You sit in your car for 11 minutes without starting the engine. Then you drive home. At 9:47 a.m., the official announcement is made. The president has been taken to Walter Reed Medical Center following a sudden health episode. Serious but stable. You sit in your apartment and watch the news anchor deliver those words. Serious but stable. You know what you saw on that gurney. Serious and stable is not what you saw. 3 days later, the president makes a public appearance. Standing, smiling, waving from the south lawn. You watch it live. And something about it stops you completely. You have worked in that building for 14 months. You have seen the president dozens of times in passing. The way a person carries themselves. The specific rhythm of how they move through a space. The particular way they hold their shoulders. And the person standing on the south lawn waves with the wrong hand. You never told anyone what you saw that night. You were contacted the following morning as promised. A quiet conversation. A document you were asked to sign. A very significant improvement in your employment terms going forward. You signed. You stayed. You are still there. And every morning when you arrive for your shift and sign in and collect your radio, you walk past the portrait in the East Corridor, the official portrait, and you look at it the way you have looked at it every single day for the past 3 years. Searching for something you cannot name, something that tells you what you saw that night was not what you think it was. You have never found it. You have never stopped looking.